Yes, guys, welcome back to Luke Talks Life. Life gives you a lot of surprises. Some might be employment, some might be education, some might be struggling with life, like to do something with your life. And heck, there might even be deeper struggles in life. But when you're 18, 17, 16, you're always at the age, or at least in the UK and Jersey, where you can get employment, right? But it's not as simple as walk into a shop, say, "Hi, I'm Luke. I'm looking for employment," right? And then they'll see your CV, they'll hear your reason and all that on why you should get a job, etc. It's not that simple. They'll send you to a website. And in this video, I'll be going through two topics: school and life. School and employment, and I'll touch on life at the end. Because it's important to realise that life will throw you shorts, will throw you stuff at you. You just have to deal with it. And like I was saying, it's not as simple as walk into a shop or a bar, give them your CV, and answer a few questions like personality, etc. And then they'll call you back later. It's not like that nowadays. You walk into a shop, ask if they're looking for work, looking for employment, or if they're looking for employees, or if they're looking to fill job positions. They'll send you to a website now. And here's the thing. This isn't just personal experience. This is knowledge. Half of these websites don't function right. So, for example, I was applying for a job today as an assistant at a shop, right? One of the questions was, are you employed? Yes or no? I pressed no. Now, you may think, surely they don't ask you employment questions. Well, surely, you say no, right? And I think there was even another question, do you have previous work experience? I pressed no. Why are you still asking me employment questions, like previous employers or email of the most recent place of employment? Why are you asking that? Why are they asking when were you last employed? When did you quit your job? How big of notice was there? I've not been employed. I've not been employed yet. And yet you're asking me questions like I've been employed before. I press no to previous work experience, or I type none, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna ask you a bunch of questions what you physically can't answer. And obviously, this kind of links up with school, because in order to get a good job, you need to do it on school. And I've always been a firm believer of not everything has to be resolved around school, because what if you struggled in school? What if you had exam stress? What if you have issues, in school? You're going to struggle in life. And they're not giving you any help. Like the lack of thinking when coding a website, or the lack of thinking when picking employers, or picking who gets a job. Sure, look means everything. But hold on, if I were to neat up my hair, right? Bar from the back, what's wrong with it? Except from the back, what's wrong with it? I think there's nothing wrong with this. Except for the back. Sure, I hear a back. It's long, I know, don't worry, I'm getting my haircut, but, like, heck, even when I had a haircut, I didn't get a job. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't even get an interview. I don't think I've had an interview since, I'd want to say, Costa Coffee, which was back in June. So, and I've been applying, but this isn't my life struggle venting thing. This is just an example, and going off the back of explaining how school can link up with it. And now let's move on to school. Right? If you struggle in school, you expect teachers to help you. Of course, you expect staff to help you. But what if they don't? I barely got help myself. Right? The lack of sympathy they have for Wi-Fi outages a few nights before homework is due, what lasts a few days, or, like the night before when you were gonna do your homework, and obviously everything's online now, like most of the stuff you have to do is online. They barely give you paperwork to fill in. It's all online. It's all going onto a website, logging in and doing the homework. And when you have Wi-Fi outages, they have no sympathy. I got a detention because my Wi-Fi went out the night before. And because of that, I didn't get my homework done. Sympathy is needed. Yes, I could have done it the night before the Wi-Fi went out or a few days before it's due. But I had other homework to do. I have a life. I know, right? Like, they have no, and most schools will have no sympathy. And the other issue what most people have with school is the lack of control with bullying and excessive behaviour. Now, when I was in school, I'm not sure about you, but I was actually a pretty good kid. I behaved. I barely got a bad behaviour point on the class charts. Yes, I got a warning for asking for a ruler. My friend for a ruler. I know. I'm so rude. It's a ruler. I needed a ruler. I lost my ruler. I asked a friend for a ruler who was right next to me and I got a warning. It wasn't even in the exam conditions as well. Just getting on work. But the lack of control for bullying as well is quite concerning. If someone gets bullied, right, and I have friends who get bullied or got bullied, right? They report it to a teacher, supposedly. But the teacher doesn't do anything. So, if the student retaliates, right? What happens when they get told off and not the bully? Because, look, I've had this issue a lot in school. You report something, right? But nothing gets done. No suspension for bullying. And bullying should be a suspension. No expulsion for beating someone up. Or, or pushing someone down some stairs. There's no suspension for that. There's no expulsion for bad behaviour. For example, there was an assembly about racist language and death threats and homophobia. Right? People were saying that shit in school. Nothing gets done except for talking in an assembly. Are you trying to hold standards? Or are you just gonna let everything off with a little warning? It's okay. It's okay, don't worry. Yeah, if you squirt water at someone, it's a suspension. Yeah, that's really bad, squirting water at someone. Rather than beating someone up or injuring or getting someone injured, or that's your level of bad behaviour. Nah, it's just a warning, it's just a telling off, nothing else will happen. It's mental. For example, lack of work being done. It's not like, for example, it's not like you're talking to a friend half of the time. It's not like you're messing around with something. I'd understand that as a warning. But you're struggling, right? You struggle with work. And I've always had this thing where I always struggle to ask for help. Right? Maybe if teachers want to be smart and helpful, they should really go, okay, do you need help? Are you struggling? I can help you. Or get an assistant teacher to help, because most classes will have assistant teachers for whatever reason. Whether that be a student supervisor or whatever, there'll be someone there. Now, to end off this video, right, let's talk about life. Because it's like this quote I heard, right? Life will always throw you challenges. But instead of admitting to giving up or, just not really being asked to do something, for example, you apply for jobs, you don't get a job after X amount of time, you give up. You fully give up. And yes, I felt like that before, but what I needed was a 2-week break, and I'm back on it because I have motivational problems myself, but I don't fully give up. Well, I know people who will fully give up and not even try, right? Yes, life will throw you challenges, but instead of giving up at achieving dreams or achieving stuff in life, take a little break even and go back at it. Because giving up won't get you anywhere. And in fact, giving up will just send you on the street after a while, because you will not be able to afford rent or the bills. And then they'll evict you. And you'll be sent out on the street. Or you might be kicked out of your house by your parents because you're not helping with rent or with the bills or, the electricity bills and all that. They might kick you out of the house because of that. So, yeah, if you're struggling or if you feel like you've given up, take a break or even ask for help. For example, back to work schemes exist, and there are people out there to help. For example, your local community service at a youth centre or community centre. So there's always people there to help. So you can also ask for help. And if you're having mental health problems or whatever, therapies, friends, family are there. So I don't think bottling inside will do much, rather than just make it worse. And look, I've bottled stuff up before, and it does actually make it worse. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, like, subscribe. If you enjoy football content, like Chelsea Football Club, rants about scheduling and all that, you can go to my Luke Talks Footy channel. I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.